Hi, welcome to Sonder Sisterhood. I'm Carrie. This is a YouTube channel for the single and childless, not by choice person. Today, I am hopping on a social media trend. The trend is the propaganda I'm not falling for. And I'm going to do one of those related to propaganda around childlessness. So here are my thoughts. The first piece of propaganda I am not falling for: you don't know love until you become a parent. Well, I know that feels really true for parents, and I don't know what they feel. So maybe they are experiencing some kind of love I haven't felt. I am confident I also experience true love in my life. It's just not with a kid. So the idea that you won't know true love until you become a parent, I'm not falling for. I love my dog. I am confident that is true love. The next piece of propaganda I'm not falling for is life's greatest meaning and purpose is to be a parent. That it's the greatest blessing one can receive. I do not doubt that it is a blessing. And I don't think that my life is less meaningful or less purposeful because I'm not a parent. I can feel that way and not diminish the feelings that they feel or parents feel. The idea that it's the greatest purpose, the greatest meaning, I challenge. I think there is a whole history full of people that have had amazing purpose. There's a lot of life changers who never experienced being a parent. People who did amazing things for society. Now, you don't have to do this huge, amazing thing in order to compensate. Your life can have lots of meaning and lots of purpose. There isn't one thing that is the greatest. There's lots of great things. All right, the next piece of propaganda related to being childless that I am not falling for is you're a lesser part of society and contribute less if you are not a parent, a la Elon and JD Vance's nonsense around this. When they say things like voting should be different, or they talk about medals for people who have a certain number of kids without really talking about ways to help support those kids. I'm not a lesser part of society because I don't have children. And I am not falling for that. And that's a piece of propaganda that really feels like it's starting to step up a bit. The next piece of propaganda that I'm not falling for related to childlessness is if you really wanted kids, you'd find a way to make it happen. Meaning, if you really wanted kids, you would adopt. If you really wanted kids, you might get a surrogate. You might use donations, things like that. And that's not true. There are a lot of reasons why people wouldn't do that. Some people don't qualify for certain things. There's an expense around it. And some people just don't want to go that route. And that's okay too. That's just as a legitimate reason. And it's okay if you make those choices. And it kind of feels like, some of us are backed into a corner a little bit around that choice. It's also not an argument that I subscribe to because you should be able to choose not to have kids. But I'm not following the propaganda of if you really wanted to, you would. I think there's lots of things in life where you can try really, really hard. You can want something really, really badly. And sometimes it's not going to happen. And that isn't always because of a failure on your part. That's just life sometimes. All right, the last piece of propaganda that I'm not falling for as it relates to being childless, not by choice, is don't talk about your pet like they're your child. To all the people who say this, I say, shut up. What's it to ya? Why do you care? Don't be so serious and uptight. I can call him whatever I want. I can refer to myself however I want. I can say I'm my dog's human. I can say I'm my dog's mom. I can say I'm a dog mom. The choices I make around this have zero impact on your life. So don't worry about it. Mind your business. Mind your business. Let me have this. If my life is so meaningless and purposeless and selfish and lesser than because I don't have kids, let me at least have this part as it comes to my dog. All right, tell me what I missed in the comments below, and stay tuned because I will also be doing one on singleness later in the week. We know there is a lot out there related to being single. Subscribe to Sandra's Sisterhood for more videos for the single and childless, not by choice person.